Certainly every one of us here today is unique and different. We're all different from one another, and what brings each of us joy comes from who we are as people and probably even where we happen to grow up. We're shaped by where we grew up. And given that I was raised in the Southwest, I have discovered that things like desert and western things bring me great joy. Things like dirt roads that don't go anywhere in particular, cacti, dust, tumbleweeds, thunderstorms, blue sky, quiet, the kind that's so quiet you can hear your heart pumping. Tumbleweeds, I just love tumbleweeds, especially the kind that come racing right in front of your car like a deer. I love windmills and shacks with metal roofs and broken down barbed wire fences. And I guess it's because I was raised as a little boy in the desert Southwest. I guess that it is because of that I have loved country music for as long as I can remember. Some of those old boys and gals really know how to sing, and their lyrics capture life without much gloss. So much country music is real, and the words capture the full spectrum of challenges that come, along with the rainbows of emotions many of us feel. Well, the other day I was listening to a pretty current country singer. Her name is Miranda Lambert. Some of you may know her. Now, I don't know Miranda personally. I don't know anything about her theology or her faith or anything, but she really has beautiful music. And the other day I was listening to one of her songs that literally nailed me right between the eyes. And it was the song titled "The House That Built Me." And as I hear the song, it's clear to me that the song is about a person who is going through kind of a rough passage in life. A person that wants to get grounded again, get in touch with where she came from, and return to some of the solid foundations she knows she can count on. And in order to do this, this woman returns to the house that she grew up in as a little girl. And she simply wants to walk around the house and get in touch with memories. Memories that will hopefully help her to make it through and help her get back on track. Now, as I thought about this song, it strikes me that many of us have had a house from long ago that is filled with memories that built us. But even if you don't have such a physical house in mind, there's a very good chance that you have had people in your lives over the years that have built you and shaped you to be who you are, helped to give you the foundation of your life, helped to bring out the resilient part of yourselves. And if we take a moment, if we reflect back, my hunch is that there are probably people in your life who have given you something, taught you something, implanted something within you that gives you solid things to hang on to and turn back to when you need it the most. Now, during the course of life, most of us have had teachers. And I don't necessarily mean just the ones in the classroom, but teachers that have helped show us the way, lit up a truth that we needed to hear, helped us to see something we may not have otherwise seen, or helped us stay on the right path or get off the wrong one. Now, I don't like making sermons about me, but just for a moment, to help you think about the people who have built you over the years, I'd like to just very briefly share some of the people who have been a big part of making me who I am. Now, it's not like I'm like them. I'd like to hope to someday be, but they're people that have planted things within me that have helped shape who I'm becoming and what I can count on. Those who have given me something that I can turn to when things are hard or overwhelming or just don't seem to make any sense at all. First, there was my late dad who landed on the beach on D-Day. And he gave me a sense of the importance of having grit in life. Pure grit. The kind of grit that says you put one foot in front of another. Not necessarily when shells and bullets are just flying, but when the chips are down. You just put one foot in front of the other. You keep going. He also tried to teach me how, I'm not there yet, but he also tried to teach me how useless worrying is. I guess if you make it through D-Day, there's not much to worry about. He worked hard to implant within me the idea that when it's all said and done, you strip everything away in life when you take your last breath, all you got left is your integrity. Then there was my grandmother, who was widowed in her 50s, and despite her grief, she taught me what selflessness and love and generosity look like. Boy, do I miss Bobby. 3 different clergy mentors, 2 of whom are now gone, worked to show me how a gentle spirit is important, how faith needs to be about a fiery passion that makes a difference, and that it's really important just to get over yourself. My 3rd grade teacher, Marion Nichols, long gone, showed me and taught us in our 3rd grade class what kindness in action looks like. My cousin Dale shows me what friendship is about. And my wife, Regina, of 25 years, who walks the talk of what love and a no matter what commitment looks like. And I could go on and on with a list of people, each who have built me, or at least the foundation on which I'm working to build my life. Each of them and others have been my greatest teachers. Who are yours? Our gospel reading today is from Matthew. In the reading, Jesus is talking from a hillside. We think it's that hillside that's on your bulletin cover. Great place to go and hang out for a day, by the way. I recommend it. It's known as the Sermon on the Mount, and today we have excerpts from the Sermon on the Mount, and probably some of the most profound words ever uttered. And if you listen carefully to what Jesus has to say, he hits the nail on the head. But as is often the case with what Jesus says, his words have multiple impacts. They encourage, they invite, they urge, and these particular words, I have to say, I find just a bit convicting. So let's take a look at them for a few moments. Jesus says to his disciples and to the crowd that is gathered on that hillside, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot." You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand and give light to everyone. In the same way, let your light shine before others. Now, Jesus used these words intentionally clearly, and he used both salt and light as metaphors to represent something that he wants us to keep in mind as we follow him. Salt. Gotta have it. No salt, no life. It's necessary for life. It's life-giving. It's a preservative that keeps things from going bad. And when used in the right way, it brings out wonderful flavors that sometimes are masked. In essence, Jesus is saying, my people, it's your responsibility to be like salt. It's your responsibility to be life-giving to people that you encounter, not life-diminishing. Through who you are, be like salt, Jesus says. Help others to be the wonderful people that God made them to be. Bring out the best in others, not the worst. And through who we are, show other people that there's another way, another place to turn, maybe another direction when things are off track. And so Jesus asks, are we like salt? Do we bring out the best in others? Do we enhance their lives? Then Jesus uses an image of light. Without light, you can't see. Without light, you get lost. Without light, you get on the wrong path. Without light, there's no life. Jesus says, be a light to others. Shine a light on what's important. Shine a light on the path to go in life. Shine a light when people are on the wrong path. Shine a light on love and right living and what's important. Shine a light on the way to go. Jesus says, we are light. We are salt. We are responsible for the lives of other people. Now, a few days ago, there was a letter in the New York Times written by a fellow named Ray Hoffman, and in it he describes what it's like to be a Jew in Alabama. There are 4 million people in Alabama. There are 9,000 Jews. And he writes about a friend who reminded him of an obliging truth. The truth, a Jew in the South is always teaching. In other words, there are not many religious Jews in Alabama, so the few that are there are continually showing people all around them what being a Jew is all about. People are watching and learning from what they see Jews doing. What a responsibility. What an obligation. What a statement about what it means to be a teacher. But as I read this letter to the New York Times, it was clear that this truth is not just about our brothers and sisters who happen to be Jewish, but it is about all of us who are here this day who follow Jesus. That same truth applies to us. You see, as a Christian, we are always teaching. And if so, what are we teaching others through who we are? And I believe that this is exactly what Jesus was getting at through his words in Salt and Life. What does your life show people? What does your life teach people? To whom does your life point? Now, as we think of this idea that we are all teachers, it's important to think about what this is and is not about. Taking on the responsibility of teaching, being a teacher, shining light, being salty, has nothing to do with ego. Get rid of the ego. Has nothing to do with showing that you are just a good Christian. Has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with being self-righteous or having any notion that you are better than other human beings. It's not about being more proper or more religious. It doesn't have anything to do with trying to convince people of anything through words that we use. But what it does have to do with is embracing the truth that as a follower of Christ, you and I, whether or not we like it, are always teaching. That's why I used to use the phrase, it's not just me who has a collar on, you do too. Even when you're driving. It's about embracing the truth that who we are and how we act might be the determining factor in whether another human being has any interest in Jesus Christ or not. It has to do with embracing the truth that our actions can either lead people astray or toward God. We understand that people need to focus on themselves, but we understand ourselves as the centrality of working on our own integrity without commenting to others about how much integrity we have. It has to do with working on our own honesty, our own forgiveness, our own desire to apologize and acknowledge mistakes, and our own desire for our lives to be about love. And as I said, like it or not, every moment, every day, we teach others what Christ is about through who we are. So how are we going to do that? Well, you got to work on it. But one thing I want to say is that as I think about the teachers in my life, the most powerful teachers that remain teachers in my life, the ones that I admire, and the fact that they're all different, the one thing that they all share, even though they're all different, is that not one of them is perfect. Not one of them strives or strove to be perfect. Not one of them wants to be perfect. Not one of them thinks of themselves as perfect. And as a result, they were real. And they were worth paying attention to because all of them are so incredibly authentic and real. And it's a good reminder that God doesn't want us to lead people to God by trying to teach perfection or to earn anything. In fact, I believe that Jesus wants us to be real, practicing, stumbling, open, honest, striving, sometimes bumbling, loving followers of Jesus. That's how you lead people to him. My dad taught me about grit and courage, not because he was always courageous, but because he was willing to put one foot in front of the other, or at least tried. My clergy mentors taught me about passion, not because they had it 24/7, but because they knew it was worth striving for. And believe me, Regina has taught me about commitment, not because I'm always such a joy to be around, but because she sticks with me when I'm not acting so dandy. The most powerful teachers are real and open in my view. Authentic without pretense. You teach others by who you really are. Now in your bulletin are the lyrics from the Miranda Lambert song I mentioned earlier, The House That Built Me. I'm going to do something a little bit different here. In a minute, I'm going to play that song, actually. And I want you to use this time, it's about 3 minutes. I want you to use this time as a time of reflection and prayerful meditation. I'd like to invite you to reflect back upon your life. Go ahead and reflect back upon the house that built you. But while doing so, reflect back on the people that have built you. Think about the specific people that have shaped you the most for good. Think of the lessons they have taught you. Give God thanks for them. And as you do this, and then after church today and over the days ahead, think about how God might be calling you to be salt and life in the light of another human being. To whom are you called to be salt and light? What does that look like in your own life? What is God asking you to teach? What kind of impact does God want you to have on others? To whom does God want your life to point to? What is God asking you to build in the lives of others that they can come back to when they need it the most? And finally, what can you give other people that will serve them more than just a memory?